Rutland Town Select Board, regular meeting. Please stand and join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all and welcome. This is the June 25th meeting of the Select Board, our regular session. Have Select Board members seen and approved the orders?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Kirsten, they're here, so when you get to them. Any members of the public, any folks here to comment on anything that is not otherwise on the agenda today? Nope. Okay. Moving right along, let's start with any request to take up anything out of order. Otherwise, we'll go straight through. Okay. Bill Sweet, Town Administrator. I should say Josh is on vacation and JP is feeling under the weather, so we have a 3-member select board tonight.
All right. Good evening.
Evening.
Few new things, few old things. The first in your packet is, as request, is the conflict of interest policy for review. Adoption is due in a couple of days, so this is the final draft.
Okay, did the Personnel Committee see this?
Yes. So there was this. The template came from Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and there was several fill in the blank sections which we did, and then reviewed the language in there. Some language was updated to meet our needs, and this is the final draft from the Personnel Committee based on those changes.
Okay.
So last meeting I given you 2 copies. One of it was the original with all the language that was taken out, crossed out, and then the copy of it with the final draft, which is this right here.
Okay. Questions from select board members? Okay, we're sort of under the gun. This has to be in place by July 1st. I'll entertain a motion to approve as written and revised.
Second.
Is that a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion's made and seconded.
Yep.
Any discussion on this? Do you know if our town attorney had a chance to review it?
I did not send it to him.
Okay.
So I don't believe so.
JP looked at it. I read it
Yes.
through. Most of it seems okay.
He's the one that suggested all of the changes. So.
Yeah. Okay. So motion's made and seconded to approve our conflicts of interest policy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, has anybody got a clean copy that we can sign and
There's
circulate?
in your hands on the folder.
Oh, the pink folder.
Yeah.
Okay. I should say we are not circulating the minutes, we're not approving the minutes of last select board meeting because we don't have the necessary quorum to approve it.
Right.
Because Sharon wasn't at that meeting.
Somewhere there's a place.
Yeah.
I think it's the first thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The next is draft of a letter to go to. This comes from to go to the Holiday Inn about a parking issue that was brought up. I believe Josh brought it up at the last meeting.
Yeah.
So this is a letter and a copy of the picture. We're gonna send to them also.
Okay. You're all aware of what this matter was about. Tractor trailers and the Holiday Inn van parked across what is the end of Cop John Drive. Is there a motion to approve the letter?
So move.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all of those in favor of approving the letter say aye.
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 And I'll say aye too. Okay.
And there is a copy of that in the folder if you want to use that one.
I should say I also voted aye on the conflicts of interest policy.
Okay.
All right.
Next, number 3, GE is extending an invitation for 2 people to go to a graduation ceremony at Mountaintop Inn in Chittenden for their apprentice program. If anybody would like to attend, it's in August.
Okay.
So, for your information.
For our information,
Yep.
make sure that Josh and JP have a chance to go. They can be our 2 delegates.
They could be, yes. I can sign them up for that.
Very good.
Number 4 is in regards to correspondence we received a little while ago, but it's the official notice from West Rutland about the change in the appraisal for our property there.
Okay, well, there's 2. Last
Yes.
year's real estate appraisal was $37,100. This year's is $38,400, an increase of $1,300. On the other parcel, last year's value was $46,400. This year's is $70,800, an increase of $24,400, which is pretty significant.
I think somebody should go to this and ask them why.
I don't know. Is that the one that's the forest? Well, it's all forest.
Both are,
Yeah, both
One-
are.
The second one is the 100-acre parcel.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first one is 84 acres, the second is 100 acres. Wow.
I think somebody, maybe, would this be like
There is
one
a
of the,
grievance hearing July 9th, 10th, and 11th. I think you have to call for an appointment. So, what's your pleasure, folks?
I think somebody should go and ask why. I don't know if
Kinda
that
like
would,
to see you go, Mary.
would that be a list, would that be something Howard could do for us?
Lister to lister?
With-
price should be about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what the 20, I mean, that's
Increase.
almost, what's 50% increase in the value of that land for why. So, I think we should ask why.
All right. So let's delegate our Bill to go. Are you on vacation that week? July 9th, 10th, and 11th.
We're gonna be in Wallingford the afternoon of the 10th.
Yeah. It's a busy week.
Well,
No, I'm here that week.
okay. Would you please call?
Yep.
And you folks okay with delegating Bill to grieve
Sure.
on our behalf? And just find out what the story is. And you do have to, so let's
We have to
grieve
go-
that second
By the
value.
8th. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, make it, so I'll entertain a motion to grieve the one or both.
So move.
What's your pleasure, one or both?
I think we should ask why on both of them.
Yeah.
What the difference, I mean, it is forest land and I don't see where the value has changed.
Yeah,
Okay, so, motion is to grieve on both?
yes.
By
So moved.
Sharon, seconded.
By me, yep.
Byron?
Is this an appropriate time to actually research the West Rutland Charter? To be sure that when West Rutland was chartered, and how it was chartered, and which parcels were chartered, because if that 2 particular parcels were not included as, because being glebe lots, if they were not included in their charter, therefore that is still Rutland Town, and why should we be paying taxes on something that's still ours?
This has come up before. I think this is something we ought to look into. Yep, I like that idea.
So we raise the question with town council. Do we want to go in that direction? It's gonna,
I don't think it's, what's it gonna hurt?
I mean, I would guess,
money, yeah.
I would just get a copy of the West Rutland Charter.
Charter. And read to
Follow
it.
it through as best as you can, and then if a question really arises, and that's how we ended up with Campbell Road, they just went to the legislature, and the legislature changed the charter of the city from one side of Campbell Road to the other, and that's how we ended up with the Campbell Road.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it,
So when West Rutland was chartered, they typically have a description of parcels or by school districts, that sort of thing. And if those were not included in that
I think we
charter,
should look at it.
I think so.
okay.
should be paying taxes.
All right, well, the pending motion is to grieve anyway,
Yes,
and
and
this
then-
would add to little research on this would add to our grievance. So,
Yeah.
all in favor of grieving these two
So
appraisals?
moved.
Aye.
Okay, aye.
Aye.
All right, so we've got three. And could you inquire, maybe with Byron in the office, inquire of our town council about
Sure.
this? Okay.
Yep.
Somebody looking at that charter, because it could be that we own that's us, and it wasn't them. Do we get our money back for all the years we've been paying taxes? Probably not.
Oh, all right. Okay,
Don't pay in the future.
what's next?
Number 5 is from Kevin. It's his comments based upon his review of the stormwater ordinance.
Okay. So question, the stormwater ordinance, that's the next packet that's,
It's the copy of it's in there. Yes.
okay. And do we need to, has this incorporated all of the changes that he addresses
Yes,
here?
they're all there. Yes.
Okay. And
Well,
this is,
he didn't so much suggest changes as there was some language he said in 7.7 was about the notification for going onto a property.
oh,
The last
yeah,
sentence.
okay, so
Which is on page
where the stormwater
21.
treatment practices are being or have been constructed subject to regulation under this article, the administrative officer shall be permitted after no less than, and this is underlined, after no less than 48 hours written notice to the property owner of the intent to enter and inspect any land disturbance activities as often as may be necessary to determine compliance with the article. And the question is whether 48 hours notice is appropriate. So the question posed is the select board should consider whether it wants to impose this restriction on itself within this impaired Moonbrook waterway. Stormwater issues can be intermittent or the product of short-term activity that is difficult to catch. A serious erosion or other runoff problem should not have to wait before someone can go on the property. So what's your pleasure? We're on,
I,
Do we need to do this today? Do we need this approval or
this
done
goes
tonight?
into, well, it went into effect June
First,
1st.
yeah.
First,
So this would be a cleanup of,
so maybe we ought to get the opinions of our two missing
all right.
mates.
So, Bill, could you add this to next meeting?
Yep, we table it till next meeting. If we're not under any pressure to make a decision tonight and have Josh and JP read it.
All right.
Number 6 has brought up at this point a larger issue. So I spoke with Mary before the meeting, and I would ask for an executive. And I've spoken to Kevin about this too. So we need an executive session after the meeting to discuss
Okay.
the issues.
Okay.
Number 7 is the final draft. We promise of the RFP for the remodel. So the dates are not. We did not fill in the dates on the second page because we wanted to come to you and say when did you want to do it, because at this point we weren't sure what you wanted to be. We just wanted to fill those. We can decide those right now. We can fill them in and then we can send it out.
I'd like to table it until we have the full board.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
So could you add it to next meeting's
Yes.
agenda, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
And we can come up with a schedule.
All right.
That would be good.
Okay. Number 8 comes from the Water and Sewer Committee meeting. We reviewed allocations, and I had found where an allocation was granted to this property, 91 US Route 7 South, but no connection was ever made. So the allocation is kind of hanging out there. There is no record also of it ever being paid for. So the ordinance does grant us permission to revoke the allocation after a year, and it's been
Almost-
two.
oh, yeah,
So
it's been two.
more than two.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that remodel of the, it was a bank property.
It was a
right?
bank, and then it was a smoke shop,
Tobacco,
and yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on this.
I move that we, forward this letter to the, folks as, outlined here, was it Rutland Eye Physicians?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and approved to, what, approve the letter and then forward it on to the
Yep.
property owner?
Yep.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye.
And there is a,
Is there one?
yes, there is.
There's one in there without an 8 on it?
Yep.
Okay, it's coming your way.
And then the last one, 9, is from the police department.
Okay, so, you folks, and we'll get to you, okay. Other materials.
Okay, a couple things on the desks. There is a letter that Barbara and Howard and I drafted over today, coming out of the planning commission meeting. Velco is proposing to install a additional solar array on their property, and it's close to their own boundary line. And they're going before they're getting their CPG and needed a letter from the town saying it's okay. So we came up with this letter. They are planning to, the person that came to the meeting last Thursday said they are planning to combine the two parcels. So it shouldn't be much of a deal, but Barbara has some information too if you want to talk with her later about it. But that was a letter for them, saying that the town and the planning commission are okay with them building the array closer than the 50-foot buffer zone from their own boundary line.
Okay. Barbara?
It's state statute that it'd be 50 feet from the boundary line. So they went to an attorney who said the PUC can be flexible if the town is okay and adjoining landowners are okay. Velco owns both pieces of property. This is like they want to put one end of the solar array right next to the line.
Of their own property.
Of their own property.
Okay.
And I'm Brian Connaughton from Velco. Here
Very
to
good,
discuss
thank
the
you.
questions.
Yeah.
The reason we're moving our solar panels is to accommodate the request of a butter, a
Right.
neighbor of ours that is concerned that she'll see the solar panels. So we're moving them farther away and then closer to this line that we'll seek to really remove through a survey with the hopes of combining both parcels into one.
Okay, and Velco's okay with combining both parcels into one?
Yes, that's our intent. We
Okay.
expect to start the survey in the upcoming weeks.
Okay, so I think that solves the problem, and if you're okay with it,
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
You gotta make the
You
motion.
gotta
I'll
make the
make the
motion.
motion.
Yes,
Okay.
Sorry.
And Joe?
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'm not used to you being in that seat, Mary.
I know, I'm sorry. I just moved over, so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't seem standoffish. Any further discussion? All in favor of approval conditioned upon combining those two parcels, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'm going to send you, actually, you already signed the letter, so I'm going to send you the other letter, which you should have signed last time.
Okay.
Just got them mixed up. Okay.
You also have
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
there are also the police department calls for service on there, on your desks, and your reclassification documentation for the two roads.
Okay, I think
save
we'll get
that?
to the reclassification when Byron's up.
And there's also cost estimates from Byron on there too for a couple things. We have the projector set up for that for later if we need to. The new copiers were installed yesterday. We had an army of people here working on a variety of projects, but they're all in, they're all working, and so far so good. And our additional cameras were installed yesterday as well. So those are done here. That's all working. Cameras were installed at the transfer station the other day. Those are all good. And then we're waiting a couple pieces, then we're gonna do the rest of the rec buildings, and we should be all done with that. And that's most of the grant will be done with here pretty soon, so.
Okay, this is a reimbursement grant?
Yeah, that's the VLCT grant, so we're gonna get about half the cost of everything. Brad, who was here a couple weeks ago from Efficiency Vermont, stopped in the office today. This is going to be a recurring theme. They have money they have to spend and have to give away, and he has earmarked $4,000 for the town that he would like to spend for us and with us. So he says we can basically on projects we've done, why we could use the reimbursement for, or things we could use the money for going forward. So it can be on any town building for really any efficiency project we want to do. So he was looking for ideas, but he's got till the end of the year to do it.
The end of the fiscal year or
No,
the calendar year?
calendar year.
Okay, good.
So we got 4
days.
We're talking about that. I was saying.
Close.
So why don't you leave me the cash? We'll take care of it, and we'll be good. We talked about a couple different things. So we talked about the remodel in her office that can go toward paying for the lights. But there's besides that and the heat pumps we talked about. There's really not many projects that we have. He
What about
says
the transfer station office?
the heat pump there we
Okay.
could work on that. So I mentioned to him, I said we had a vendor that did the heat pumps here that came back and went through the office and reviewed it for us, and despite repeated phone calls has failed to provide us with any estimates over months. So he's going to give me some other contractors who could give us pricing on it, because I've called them 3 times and they've said we'll get them to you in a couple of days, and nothing's ever happened. So, but the other thing we were talking about was lighting for the rest of the building. We did the hallway, and we could reach out to a electrician and say we want to upgrade all the lighting in the building, and if we could do it for under this price, then he might be able to fund the whole project. So we have a couple different options, but we have a couple months to figure it out. But he's eager to do
There's a
that.
hand way down the back. Mike Rowe.
Pool could use some upgrades in the bathroom as far as lights.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
So absolutely. So I've got his contact information.
And
Yes.
Byron's got his hand up.
Yeah.
How about the old sodium high pressure lights that are up at the transfer station?
Yeah. Lighting upgrades was like the first thing on his list. So
Okay.
so we just.
So I was just suggesting take a look at that lighting, because
And he said his money is on top of any incentives already existing from Efficiency Vermont. So we did the new lights in the building here, and our check is in the mail, but we're getting the full cost of those lights back. And he said like his money could be on top of that to help pay for some labor and things like that too. So we can look at that. And
Can we use his money as a match?
I didn't ask him that, but very
Let's
possibly.
see. Okay.
Yeah. But we talked about like the biggest thing we have around the horizon right now is the remodel. So we talked about using it for efficiency projects, and he said that's fine. So we just need to talk to him about it. Yep.
you got that roof extension you're going to do at the transfer station.
Yep.
You will need a light
Okay.
tube up in there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there's another suggestion
more.
for a couple LED lights.
So we do actually have the 2 lights that were on the back of the building. We still have them. They're downstairs, so we could repurpose those because they're fine. They're just way too high. They weren't right for the height they were at. So they'd be perfect for up there. So we already own them. So we could absolutely use those. Yep. The last thing I have, I'm sad to say we were not awarded the electric vehicle charging station grant. The second round had $2.4 million in requests and $650,000 in available funds.
You. Okay.
We-
So who got him?
There wasn't a list included there. They said there is a possibility of another round. I talked to Devin at the Planning Commission, and he says that he's going to reach out to the gentleman in there and ask why we didn't get it. Kind of go through that. Yes, so it's too bad because the first round didn't spend all its money, and the second round got tons. So.
Well, thanks for all the work you put into that.
So if it works out right, we may try again, but not this time.
Okay.
All right, that is everything I have. There should be everything on your desks from me, at least.
Okay.
So, in regard to the security stuff we're doing, Billy.
Yes.
We still don't, I've made this suggestion a couple of times to look in the cost of getting cable
Yep.
run through the complex up
Yep.
there. And I don't know if we need to contact Comcast and ask
Yeah.
them what we would need to do, whether they would run the cable or we would hire a private contractor to do it, but I would still like to see us start looking into that, and maybe when we get into the fall budgeting schedule, we could get some money aside or set up some money to do that. Because I think having cable up there would give us a better reception on our cameras and a
Yes.
better, having everything working together.
So I've got to talk to them about some things for here, so I can have that a conversation at the same time with them about what that would entail. So
Yeah, I just think it's time to do it. We got
Yeah,
enough buildings up there, we got enough
There-
stuff going on there. It would be
Right.
nice to have cable through
so
that
all the
complex.
systems we are installing. So there's one at the transfer station right now, and then the pool and the storage building will all have the ability to be viewed remotely, but the infrastructure isn't there yet. And
Right.
Byron has the internet at the garage, but it's not going to support that. He won't be, his internet will become unusable for himself, so that
Right,
wouldn't be fair to
so
him.
running cable would be the,
Yes.
is the
Yes.
direction we need to go in?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so if we had some figures by October, November,
So
what it's gonna cost.
I've got to
we
talk
could
to
get that
myself.
done.
I've already got to make a phone call to them anyway, so we'll go over that whole thing. Yep.
Okay, very good, thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Good. That's it. Yeah, I think that's it from you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Executive session at the end.
Yes.
All right. Barbara Noyes Pulling, Town Planning Commission. Welcome.
Don't have much for you tonight. Next steps for the energy plan. I want to clarify something and probably correct something that I said last time. You have up to 120 days to have your public hearings, to have your first public hearing. So that's fine and dandy. You've done that. As far as approving the plan, you have a year from when the Planning Commission's last public hearing was, which was toward the end of March.
Yeah.
And if you make any changes, then you will need another public hearing with the select board.
With the select board, if we make any changes.
Any changes, it was substantive or non-substantive.
All right.
Because even the non-substantive ones, you need to let people know what those changes are 15 days before the public hearing that will address those. So you've already had your required 2 hearings, so if you make any changes, you'd have to add a hearing and then build in that 15 days.
And my recollection is that we did make some changes, or we talked about some changes.
You talked about some changes.
But Bill, I don't think we picked them up from the first public hearing to the second, did we? Okay. So, well, I had a note here that I think we had talked at the last meeting about sending the town energy plan to the energy committee to work on those changes. So let's do that. We appear to have plenty of time. So, Bill, if you could put on your list of committee meetings needed, energy committee, and we need to consider that.
Boy,
Okay.
you've got it together.
All right, you're good.
Careful, he's gonna ask for a raise.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I know,
budgeting time is coming.
I know.
And, okay, anything else?
Yeah. As far as the stormwater ordinance, we're going to have a town-wide meeting
Yes.
here on July 11th, starting at 6 o'clock. If anyone from the select board would like to join us, that would be great. We're getting some publicity out now. And through the Circle, hopefully the Herald, Front Porch Forum.
Hint, hint. Thank you.
I've mentioned it twice. And so, yeah.
Okay, yes. Actually, it's already in my calendar.
Oh, great, great. And if we have, I mean, if you're done with the revisions to the ordinance, then that'd be great. If not, we can still, there's still a lot to talk about, and Andres will be here that evening.
Well, if we do the stormwater at the next meeting,
The
2
ninth
days
will be
later,
a couple
yeah.
nights before, yep.
okay, we'll see. All right, thank you. Anything else?
The only other thing is, the Planning Commission wanted to work on an internal policy dealing with planning commission members' personal opinions or personal actions specifically regarding planning commission votes and actions. And this kind of stemmed from two things: Norm Cohen coming here with a suggested change for the energy plan, and also Jim Hall writing a letter to the select board about the energy plan and how he thought it probably shouldn't be passed. So I don't know what we're going to come up with for a policy.
I mean, individual members still have their own.
That's right.
Free speech.
That's right.
And they have their own opinions. So tread carefully, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything for the planning commission.
Nope.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Barbara. Kirsten Hathaway, Town Clerk and Treasurer.
Hopefully just be just as quick. So I do have status reports and the one sheet that I've been creating on your desks, so you can see where we're at for the end of the fiscal year. It looks like we're going to end pretty strong. We did not expect the excess that we have. The major reason for that is that the local options tax came in very, very strong compared to what we had expected. What with the mall having some struggles and losing Garvey Nissan and things like that. So I think that's good information that the 1% has gone up. And then the delinquent tax collections also went up. It looks like.
Good.
So that's also a good thing. And our police department and our fire department and our rec department all spent less than what we expected. They were very, very fiscally responsible. So
Great.
let's see, what else did I
Any
have?
questions about the revenue projections or the surplus projections? Now, you call it a final excess, but we still have a couple more days.
We still have the June interest that we have to apply
Okay.
once the bank statements come in, so that'll probably be about $4,500 that we'll get from that.
Okay.
And then there'll be a couple other miscellaneous things.
And any expenditures from here on in will be in the next fiscal year? Are
Yes.
you apportioning, though, or you've already apportioned the payroll between the two?
Typically, the payroll that bridges the gap goes into the next fiscal year.
Okay.
So that'll actually come out in fiscal year, what is that, fiscal year 20.
So no more expenditures in the next few days. So this, right?
Well, I mean, anything from accounts payable will be next fiscal year. So
Right, okay.
the excess that we
We're in good
have,
shape.
the excess that we have will probably be used to make up for the deficits we've had the past couple of years in the 1.5 million. So that's what Andrew wants us to do.
Yeah,
with it.
usually we have, Finance Committee meets with the auditor, and the question that comes in from Andrew is, do we first use any surplus to pay any deficit from previous years, and then the bulk of the surplus under vote of the voters a few years back goes into our capital fund?
Yeah,
So it's there
I
for,
think he'd mentioned that we have to pay back the 1.5 first.
that could very well be.
And then anything excess, once we get it back up to where it should be, then it'll be into
Yeah.
the capital improvements. But I think
Basically,
that's
what
also
we
up
do
to
is
the
we
select board.
Find out what the auditor is recommending, we usually go along with that.
Okay.
So we'll get more guidance on that.
We'll
later.
find out what Andrew wants us to do.
Yeah. Okay. Good news.
Other than that, I told Josh that I would mention there is a golf outing. I cannot golf to save my life, but I think it'll be fun to network with the other officials in the area. From VLCT, I think they do this every year, but Josh wants to go, and I was thinking about going. And JP's not here because I know that he's a golfer, but I'll have to bring it up to him. It's Friday, August 23rd at Green Mountain National.
We're supposed to put a team together?
Yes.
Foursome?
Yeah, foursome.
So there's three.
Yep. If
I
somebody
don't
who's
golf.
better at golfing wants to go, I will step
I
back
golf,
so you can
but I'm
actually
not
win.
All right, so Josh wants to, JP isn't here, but we can ask him.
Yeah.
You're in. Back row. Mike Rowe, you're our rec director.
That doesn't mean I know how to golf.
I don't either. We can learn. It'll be
I have
fun.
certain criteria when I golf. I don't know if I can say it on camera.
All right. So, Bill?
As long as there's windmills and clowns.
Oh.
That's all good. Yeah.
It's a good team building exercise.
Barbara, do you golf? Okay.
I'll find
So
someone.
There's, yeah, I mean, we have the fire department. Surely there is someone in the fire department or police department.
I can find a ringer for a lifeguard that golfs if you really need somebody.
Okay, so be in touch with Mike Rowe.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to field
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Let's see. And then the only other thing I have is that the office will be closed for July 4th.
Okay.
So
Good. And thank you all department heads for running very tight budgets. That includes the one department, which shall remain nameless, which experienced severe winter weather conditions, which caused, more plowing to be done on town highways. Whoops, sorry, Byron.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're still in good shape.
Yeah, the one sheet doesn't include highway because they have their own carryover and everything, so
Yes.
that doesn't affect the general fund, so.
Okay, so
But I think they're good.
good news all around. Thank
Yes.
you very much. All right.
All right.
Next, Micro Town Rec Director. And while Mr. Rowe approaches, speak, no, you can go ahead and sit down. All right. We should all be aware that the 2019 Rutland Town School Yearbook was dedicated to our very own Mike Rowe. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And we know we've got a gem here.
Yes.
And the kids know it too, so.
They're a
good
very
for
good
you.
class. They meant a lot to me, so I've known them for a long time. So thank you for that. A couple things. We had our little quick rec committee meeting before where we discussed, I'll let Sharon do that once I'm done. Our baseball team, our grade 5-6, which is our major team, which is our highest team that we have, is in the championship game tomorrow night against Brandon. So if anybody wants to go up there, 6 o'clock should be quite a battle. The pool is up and running and doing great. I want to thank Byron and I forget his name, who's Jason, for his help with the trail cleanup that we had on whatever the 17th or whatever the last couple weekends ago. It was a big success. We got a lot done. The main trail is open and it's in a lot better shape. The Girl Scouts helped out, the Boy Scouts helped out, and then countless volunteers that have helped out. It made it's starting to look a little better, which is great. So we're going to continue with some more work this weekend, chipping up some of the fallen brush with the help of Jason and Byron's donation of the chipper. So that'll only add to our remake of the trail. Mary, you were there, so you can attest to the people that were there. So we thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It was a good group, a lot of hard work, and thank everybody for that. So pool's up and running. Lessons started today. Normal group of people. Passes are where they normally are for sales. It'll just depend on the weather. We have 3 big events coming up. The 4th of July, obviously, we're open all day, and then you can come in and swim during the fireworks, which will be on the 4th at dusk. So that's probably about 9:30-ish, depending on the weather that day. And then we have our big Town Mine celebration on July 6th, which the park is open, and the party is running from 11 to, 11 if you stay all day. By the time you get done with the night movie, you could be there for a good 12 hours, and you'll get fed a couple times with the food in the afternoon and then chili cook-off and then music and all the great things that are going on that day. So we encourage people to that. And then July 11th, for the 3 of you, if you so choose, is our senior luncheon at the pool. We have a guest cook, aka Byron, will be cooking the grill, and it'll be at the pool. The lifeguards provide all the sides, and it's a great time. So for our seniors, and that's 11 to 1 on the 11th of July. The only other thing that I have is I had talked with Sharon about, I'm wearing 2 hats here as I do the AD work at school. We're looking to move the softball field back at school so we can reclaim more of a grass field for our field sports right at the school. I do use those fields for rec purposes as well, and I'm looking for your approval, and it'll be paid by the school to the person, but I've been talking with Byron and having him and the boys and myself do a lot of the bulk of the work of having that done. And then they will be paid for their services. Nothing in kind or donated. It will be paid for. I'm just kind of looking for your guidance and if you're okay with that. Of course, that's up to you if and I'm kind of speaking from 2 points here, as the AD school who's trying to get that done for the school, but also as the director who uses that as well. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there for your questions or concerns. We're just trying to move it back.
Questions, anyone?
No, I don't have a problem with doing it.
No, we've
So
done
I
cooperative work with
would,
the
I would
school
move
before.
to do that.
Yeah,
Second?
yeah.
Okay,
It's
that'll happen
reimbursed.
in July, and later on it's when Byron's available, and he will be reimbursed so there's no wasting
I
of
made the
funds.
motion, Joey seconded it.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm an aye in favor. Okay. Thank
Other
you.
than that, I don't think, unless you're gonna go over what we talked about, which is
Yes,
great. let's
I
do
did
that.
want to do that. We have the option of the fire truck, that they're not going to be not the fire truck, but
pickup?
the truck,
Pickup.
the pickup truck. It's a 1999, it's got low mileage. The approximate insurance on it would be about $300. It would be used by both Mike and to transport stuff around from the town, so I would like to move that we give the go-ahead on that. We won't be using that truck for about 3 months because, if I'm correct, the fire department, they're going to be doing some work on the other truck, so they're gonna need that. So am I right, about 3 months? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, because it's costing us nothing other than the insurance and the maintenance of it, so.
And this is it. So motion's made to transfer the
It's the Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger
Right,
truck
Greg?
used by the fire department,
Chris.
Oh, it is a 98? Okay.
98,
And we don't want it, no. just-
Yeah,
over to the rec
Recreation.
department,
yeah.
Yeah,
to be used jointly with the rec and highway department. Who's gonna pick up the insurance? Rec?
I will pick up all costs,
Okay.
and I will budget it. I can cover it this year, and I will make sure that I budget it for the years to come.
Are Kirsten, are the insurance for the vehicles separated by department?
Yeah.
So is there because since they're all through the League of Cities and Towns, I don't remember if in the fire budget there's an actual vehicle insurance. There isn't.
No, it's part of the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, but it's all lumped together for all the vehicles. It doesn't break it out apart.
Right,
for
but
each vehicle.
but it comes out of the general fund, not an individual budget, right?
Oh, okay.
So there'll be
There
no
you go,
cost
there
to
would be no
you.
cost. It would just be maintenance and
Right.
fuel and,
It's not gonna be, all we're gonna be doing
It
is
shifts from one department to another.
Yeah.
Right.
who's actually got it, because it's registered to the town fire department right now, I believe, or town.
The
And
insurance might actually drop on it too, since it won't be a fire vehicle anymore.
Right.
I don't think there'll be, it'll just be different.
So,
It's still a town-owned vehicle, and I think they're all under the town, because the new truck the fire department's getting will be the add-on, but it's just gonna be one more vehicle on the policy. So,
motion's been made and seconded to approve the transfer from the fire department over to rec department at no cost to the rec department, other than the ordinary maintenance.
Fuel.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thanks. Rec department's got a new, or will in 3 months.
is there anything else on the list?
Nope. We got it.
Dewey Field looks good. I drove out
Oh.
there again. Yes.
Yes,
okay.
that, I meant to add that too. So they've started, if they didn't finish already today, I didn't go over, and the weather was depending on them finishing the fencing today.
They didn't.
They didn't?
No.
Okay, so the weather didn't get there, so they'll get there in the next day or two.
Yeah, I would
The-
have thought that would be a little difficult in the
Well,
torrential.
when I was talking to Skip, he said it would be tomorrow, depending on the weather, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming it'll be tomorrow. And now, because today wasn't that great. The lining company and the company that's installing the tennis courts and the basketball courts have already placed their foundations for the apparatuses.
Okay.
And they will be down, once the fence is up, then they come in and they finish their paint, so that's all been kind of coordinated.
They paint and they do the net for the tennis court.
Yep, we set the posts, they set the foundation for both the basketball stanchions and the tennis stanchions.
Okay.
So then we're all good to go. They'll just come down and paint when they're available, and obviously the weather is permitting. Otherwise, a lot of compliments on the park. Yesterday was an interesting challenge. I was up because we had a baseball game and there were a lot of people, and I was directing traffic not to park on the road. And like, where do we park? And I'm like, well, if you go in here, and they found that there was plenty of parking inside. Once they discovered the old basketball court is now parking, it alleviated itself quite nicely. So, and there was a very large crowd. And so that was a good sign that we can handle that part right there. So those things are moving
So it
along.
worked, yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
Done? All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Byron Hathaway, Road Commissioner.
Okay, we have a few items tonight. First, probably the most important one is this letter of intent that needs to be off to the state for the grants and aid program that's managed by DEC. So it's just a single form. We just need 3 select board signatures on it and fill in the date.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve. This is for,
This would be, this is the
town
letter
road?
of intent.
okay,
Once they collect all of these letters of intent, then they divide up the pot of money, so we don't know how much money the last that we would be eligible for. The last time we participated in this program was 2 years ago. We were at $7,500.
what do we use it for when it comes in?
We use it for projects that fall within the hydrologically connected parts of our road that fell within our road erosion inventory. So it'll be stone line
It's a
ditches.
mouthful.
Yeah, stone line ditches in some areas, that sort of thing. We have 3 projects in the capital improvement plan that was written as part of that inventory. 2 of which are on North Grove Street. So that's where the money would be used. It's that requires a 20% local match, which can be in-kind services, that sort of thing. Doesn't have to be a cash match. But it is a reimbursable grant. So in other words, we got to do the projects, and then we work actually with the RPC. They administer the program once you're given the funding. So I believe Barbara's in charge of that, so we would be working with Barbara like we did the last time.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the intent on the grants in aid.
So move.
Second. One of us.
Sorry,
Yeah, doesn't matter.
So, let's see. Joe moves, seconded by Sharon. Any
good.
discussion?
Yep.
If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Alrighty, thank you.
Date it.
Yeah. Okay, it's up here.
I'll get it, Mary.
Anything else? Oh yeah, we have a few things, don't we?
Yeah, we have a few things.
Okay.
The next kind of important thing is the request of Jim Ragosta in the Grover Drive area. You had asked me to go out and survey that, actually come up with some idea of what would be involved and that sort of thing. So what I had proposed was to install a 15-inch diameter culvert from the corner of his property to daylight to the west beyond the J.R. Bullock property. There's a few questions here that need to be answered before a project like this took place. But anyways, you can see it's about $10,000 to do that. The depth of digging was a question that I think Joe brought up, and I think you can see that the deepest depth would be approximately 5.5 feet,
That's not too bad.
which is not too bad at all.
crest
We were
there.
deeper than that on Post Road doing that similar project to alleviate that big ponding that we always get there at the corner of Blue Ridge. So it's a doable project. The only questions that I have, one, will JR be a problem in actually digging up the end of his driveway, which is a paved driveway? Even though it's paved back, you know, it looks like a patch in your driveway forever and ever and ever until it's paved again.
Yep.
And that's one question. The other question is, I know that there are conduits that go across Grover Drive that feed the Feinberg property and another vacant lot right now. What the actual depth of those conduits are and whether they would affect the depth of the culvert or not, that's up in the air. An exploratory would have to be done to determine the actual depth of those conduits and whether they would be at a depth such that you can go underneath them. I suspect that they are, but that's an unknown.
So this is the estimate. We did ask Byron to get this. We made no commitment.
So I would suggest
Yes.
that you have a meeting with Mr. Ragosta and sit down and discuss this and determine whether the town's going to pay for this, whether Mr. Ragosta's going to pay for it, or whether it's a joint project. I did look at going to the north. Red Grover gave me permission to enter his private property, and I surveyed that stretch of road all the way out. You would have to go close to 500 or more feet before you could get to daylight. Maintaining your along the edge of the roadway, actual depths would be probably 6 to 7 feet deep.
I think this is
Maybe some ledge removal among.
this is a good cure for the issue. My thought is, and I've asked you this a couple times, I'm not sure we had a problem there before stuff got disturbed and before additional water was added.
That's correct. I don't believe we did either.
I'm not sure. The potential maybe for a problem in the future could exist. So this would be like a permanent solution if we did this. That would eliminate that ponding in that area down the road as more houses. So I'm wondering if
Installation of this would not require any special type of work be done to that area that got dug out. In other words, the dirt that's there could just be bulldozed back in there.
Right.
Seeded and
So
let
we
the
lose our-
ferns come back into it, because then because the surface drainage has been dealt with and can relieve itself through the culvert.
So that restoring that ecological area there won't be as important or as it would have been. I'm wondering do we want to sit down with Byron and Highway and just kind of go back and forth with some ideas before we go to the full board with the thoughts on this as a Highway Committee?
That would be fine.
I'm just wondering because there's some things that I think we need to keep.
Certainly, we're not going to, I mean, my feeling is we've got two board members.
Yeah, we're not
who
gonna
had
make a
some pretty
decision
strong
tonight.
Opinions on this. So
I wasn't looking for a decision
I know.
tonight. I just was providing you with the information.
So let's table it and
So, do you want to send it to Highway?
I'd like to just go over a few
Yeah.
ideas I have and some
Okay.
things and then
yeah.
we
Okay.
can
It does affect
So,
the
Bill,
highway
that-
budget a little bit,
Yeah.
in that if Mr. Ragosta's willing to pay for all of this, that's fine. I can continue using my contractors and get some of my other smaller projects done. Should you decide that we're gonna pay for part of this, then it puts me into a position where in order to get some of these other smaller projects done, I need to go and rent a small excavator for a month and do these other projects in-house and not spend the outside money.
Yeah, so I think we need to sit down and talk this, the three of us.
Yeah, it would be
So
nice
this goes
if
to Highway. Bill, would you add this to the list
Maybe-
of things the Highway Committee needs to go over?
Yeah, I was trying to think if we figure out when we want to get together.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Now, along that same line, on the flip side of the sheet, late last week, I was requested by, I don't know if you call him building manager, what he is. His name's Mark, and for the life of me, his last name eludes me. But anyways, I met with him a month ago, and I met again late last week with him and the owners of that business, the Graphic Edge.
And this is on Seward Road?
This is on Seward Road,
And that's the old Metro Mail building,
the old
right?
Metro Mail building.
Okay.
They have a loading dock.
Is that the one around back?
No, this is the loading dock that's out front.
Out front, okay.
That's considerably lower than even their parking lot. That also has a sump pump, so that when they get some rainwater down in there, it doesn't just sit there and get trapped. That pump pumps that water into our sewer through, and I haven't researched that, but taking Mark's word for it, it's through the 250 process that was allowed to happen.
Okay.
That I can't attest to that, but it seems like a hard pill to swallow that that was allowed to happen, because it's just stormwater, and so you're adding a significant amount of stormwater
Into
But
the
you
city
separate
system.
those
to
two.
your, yeah. So anyways, they're claiming that under severe conditions, there's a significant amount of water, and I should.
Oh, okay.
You want that property? Chill switch. You want the Cedar Brook property?
So, Byron, a question I have. The water that's going into this area that they're pumping out, is that our water that's coming off Seward Road, or?
This is the claim that's being made.
Because there's a lot of pavement out front there.
Under severe conditions, water comes off the Foley property, and the empty parking lot
That's on the south side, right?
where the state
cro-
does, yeah.
Crossing?
That water is actually jumping the road and coming over to their side. And what they would like us to do is to install a culvert. Here we are. Whoop. There you go. That's good. Just sit still.
Okay, point out some landmarks for us, roads.
Okay. Here's the solar panels at the end of Seward Road.
Okay.
This is the old former Metro Mail building. This is the loading dock that actually is below grade. This is a driveway that they have, Seward Road itself. We have a catch basin system that starts here and comes down to here, and then stormwater then comes around the back of the credit union and goes out into a larger wetland down here. They would like us, there's also a cross culvert here that goes across to this dark colored area, which is actually a ditch. They would like us to discontinue this cross culvert, bring a culvert from this catch basin up to here, so the Foley water then comes down and out to the back to the wetland. I went down and shot some grades. Things are pretty flat in this area. Could you slide this over just a little bit, Bill? There we go. Here's your railroad tracks. From this culvert, if we were to maintain this culvert and put a ditch from here along our right-of-way to the railroad tracks, to the brook, call it a brook, but it's a
That drainage area back there.
area there. That would require ditching about 300 feet, but this ditch would have to be 5.5 feet deep. And with a 2-on-1 slope, the width of the ditch would be about 20 feet. So it would, I'm not sure that we want a ditch that deep next to the town road.
So,
So they've asked us if we would also be willing to ditch this for them out to here. Now, once you get out to here, there's a small 10-inch pipe that takes water underneath this fill and dumps it out to the brook. And how much pitch there's too much vegetation. I wasn't able to make the laser work, so I wasn't able to shoot the grade from there back to here, but I can attest to you that it is relatively flat. Even a 5.5 foot deep ditch here, the actual pitch on that is only a 1/16 of an inch per foot.
And that land is owned by the people that have the problem, right? That's all theirs.
that's all there is. So
Yeah.
why is this the town's problem?
Yeah.
Because they're claiming that this water, under severe conditions, jumps the road, comes across their lawn and down and fills this. Last winter, they had 3 or 4 feet of water in there. And they were actually they set up a couple large pumps, pumped it across the road through hoses and down to this system.
Who put the solar array in there? Was that on their land?
That's part of the
Yeah, that
van,
was-
the owners that own Metro Mail, I think, or whoever owned it, that's,
Okay, so
yeah.
here's that's suddenly a bunch of impervious surface there.
yeah, I don't think that's contributing.
Well,
What they
I
would
mean,
like, what they would like to do is one, at their cost,
uh-huh,
they're gonna eliminate this and create a grassed area. Two, they would like to put an asphalt curb along here to prevent water from the north side of the crown from coming onto theirs.
Is,
I don't have a problem
Byron,
with that.
so that whole big area is all part of the old, Moore Business Forms parking, right?
Here?
Yes.
Yes,
So that all belongs to Foley's now.
I believe so, and that's, I don't know,
And
if
that-
the state pays rent on it, but that's where they do their CDL testing.
Right, are there any catch basins there, anything in there that collects any of that?
Water runs off in here and around this corner. There's a buildup here in this corner that under severe conditions could push water across the road.
Because I'm
We're
thinking,
talking, you know, them gully washers like
right, I
we
mean,
had last winter.
well, what we got last Thursday, an inch and 3/4 of rain.
Last Thursday even, I mean, I went down there during, I'd met with them Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And then we had the heavy rain. I turned around and went right back down there. Everything's staying put, and they're still getting, you know, this water, which they admit is their water, their problem. They would also like to say, well, if you would ditch this for us and put a structure here that we could pump into, they would take all their water out of the
I don't see where that's our,
sanitary sewer.
continuing to have that question, why it's our problem.
Well, the part of the problem there is probably acre or more of Moore Business Forms
Yeah,
pavement.
yeah.
That belongs, so is there, some of this problem goes back to Foley's?
During that storm event that last Thursday,
Yeah.
water was going into this culvert over to here, and then at that point, very difficult to see if it's moving or not.
Yeah.
but it wasn't a
But
problem.
apparently it was moving. There was nothing backed up on Foley's at that point under
I don't
this.
see where it's our
Are
problem.
they talking with Foley's about this? Or is it just
No,
the
they're talking to
town?
me because they're
They're
I mean,
saying
our
take
only-
the-
blaming
take the
it on us
culvert-
because
right,
once the
right.
water gets to the road,
It's not our,
Across the road.
right, there's 24 feet of pavement or 22 feet of pavement, that's our drainage, and the other acre and a half or so comes from Foley's and the other associated parking down
there
there.
again, I did a cost estimate as to what it would take to put all this water from here, down here, and around here. I don't know if there's any permit conditions or anything that would prevent us from increasing the flow of stormwater around the credit union. There's still a bunch of questions there,
There's a lot of questions.
but
There's a-
anyways,
Yeah.
Can we send it to Highway and
I
then,
think this is a site visit, I think we need to get Mark Foley
Right.
involved
Yep.
and the people with the, own the old,
we had an issue when Phil Alderman built his down here. Water was jumping the road, and that was nothing more than we just re-ditched the side of the road, and it took care of Phil's problem.
yeah.
no, well,
I
if you
mean-
look at that area, there's not
It
a,
wasn't a down, that wasn't a costly thing. We spent a couple, $3,000 there, and
Right.
ditched.
It's just that there's so much impervious pavement there that
Yeah.
where the water's coming from
exactly.
and who's responsible, I mean,
There's a lot of drainage here.
Yeah.
That you have to understand. All of this goes up to the railroad, up to here, around behind Webb's, back into a culvert that goes kitty corner all the way underneath Alderman's, and ends up going down to Michael's and the plaza and is treated,
that big,
and is treated down
that,
there.
that area down there, right, that big, stormwater treatment pond there,
All
yeah.
right, so we're agreed this goes back to Highway.
Yeah,
think so.
I think so, we'll go down,
Send it to Highway
yeah,
and,
and then we can think about a site visit.
Bill,
I
if you
think.
could add that.
If you do a site
Thank you very
visit,
much.
I've got the business card for the owner, and I will just let him know that we're gonna have a site visit down there. And we'll let him know what day and time.
So,
Thank you
and,
much.
just a quick question, Byron, are they looking for the town to foot this entire bill?
For the culvert work?
Yeah.
Yes,
And that's what your estimate is for?
that's
Yeah.
what the estimate's for.
The estimate's like,
$16,000 worth of stuff that may not be our problem.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, it's an unplanned expense in the highway budget.
yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing we
I
can do.
absorb that.
Yeah.
It
There's a,
changes
all these other little drainage projects that kinda, in the residential areas that kinda need to be addressed.
Yes.
There's a limit as to what we can absorb.
Exactly.
Stone line ditches.
All right, so off to highway it goes.
Yep. That's the best way to handle those two.
I will let Mark know, and the owner know where we're at with that and what's gonna happen. Okay?
All right.
Turn the lights back on, Chris, thank you.
All right.
Okay, I have as your representative to the TAC, there's a meeting coming up Thursday, so I will have a brief report for you at the next select board meeting. That's what went on at the TAC meeting. It's a site visit, I believe, at the regional airport.
Oh, nice, okay.
So there'll be maybe some interesting information there.
You're ready.
The other thing I had for you was, we've talked about upgrading, the larger trailer that we have. I did get started at looking at some other trailers. This is the type of trailer that we would prefer to have. It comes in a 17,000 pound GVW version that would answer our purposes. The guy just got back to me tonight while I was sitting over there. That trailer is $7,500. Lucky's have a different style trailer. This style. It's a 17,000 pound short beaver tail with ramps. That trailer is currently in their yard. That's $7,600.
Which of the two would you prefer?
I would prefer
The tilt deck.
the one that's $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
Now, my other question is, and I gotta make some more phone calls to find this out. This company is down in North Carolina, and you can buy direct from the company. That trailer is $5,990 direct from the company. What freight would be, I don't know. But it doesn't seem to me that it would be more than $1,000, would it?
Right time of year.
Road trip.
No.
Road trip, Joey?
Well, I'm going to Virginia. North Carolina's another 4 hours.
Yep.
I just bring it back with me.
Okay. So,
Did-
I don't know.
Just a suggestion, Brian.
Doesn't take much to excite this young man.
So we throw you,
Way better than
we
farming.
throw you $500 or $600 to make the trip down there. Is that what you're saying?
Did you check with Jim at Earl's?
No,
Just because he's in town and just because you're looking, I would
I
go
can do that.
talk.
I never thought of Jim.
I would go talk to Jim.
Okay.
So let's.
So I'm not looking for a decision tonight. This should be a full board decision.
Yeah.
My biggest question is, do you want this, are you happy with me soliciting some prices, or do you want it formally bid? If you want it formally bid, then I need to draw up specifications so everybody bids on exactly the same trailer.
Well, there's no preferred vendor.
No.
Not yet.
So, and this
These
is
two
over.
are not apples and apples. There's a lot of similarities, axles, electric brake, that kind of stuff.
And it's
they're
over
two different styles.
$5,000.
Huh?
It's over $5,000.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Even if we did the haul up from North Carolina, it would still be over 5,000. So I don't think we have a choice. What's the?
I would go talk to Earl's and then see where they are, and then we'll
And then we'll
see.
come back to the next board because by then,
Go back to the board of the highway committee because we'll be meeting.
if the highway budget is not gonna be hammered with a couple of these other projects, then I can just do my other stuff with the current contractor, and I won't really need to go rent an excavator, and I really don't need a trailer in a big hurry to move things around. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. That's why I'm not really pushing for this at this moment.
Okay. So goes
But it
on
would
the
be
highway.
nice if we upgraded our trailer
And you've mentioned that.
and
That's
we
something
have
we need
agreed
to
on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you tell me that you want it formally bid, then I will formally bid it.
Okay.
I'd just like to see what they might do something
Yep.
for us.
No, that's fine.
All right. Okay.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Any, huh?
Seward Road.
Seward Road fire hydrant, yeah.
B under new business.
Yep.
It's under new business.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The city went down there to do some preliminary scoping out, and that hydrant is on an older system. It's a 12-inch main, but it's bell and spigot leaded joints. So they're afraid that if they went and dug around that hydrant to replace it, there's nothing there to absorb thrust that from the valve back to the main, that could just blow apart, and then you got 12 inches of water running everywhere.
So they run down the road and shut
So
that
they
off.
they have determined that they need to shut the water off between a couple of different valves. That's going to affect at least 3 businesses down there, one of which is the Graphic Edge. And they use a fair amount of water in the morning, I guess. So the suggestion was that they do it on a Saturday when it won't affect those businesses, and that would be at the overtime rate.
Right.
To the city.
We talked about this at our water and sewer meeting, and my thought was just to bring it before us, but I think that's the best option to not inconvenience the businesses.
What's the difference in price with the overtime rate?
Probably be
haven't
at least
gone there.
50% more,
I'm sure Dave hasn't even come up with an estimate for it yet.
whatever.
Okay, so we,
I think we just need to approve them and let them fix the hydrant. And what I wanted to bring up, Mary.
The one across the road
Yeah.
is functioning, but
Yeah.
this is the one right out in front of Graphic Edge.
Yeah, set one up, yeah.
all right, so what's the recommendation from water sewer?
Was to allow Byron to schedule that for a Saturday. And then we need to discuss whether or not some of these projects he needs to come to us, or if in his capacity as, and I'm not sure what your official title is under the water sewer, can he make these decisions on his own?
Well, a repair like that, I told David, go ahead and fix it. But,
Right.
assuming that it was a normal workday kind of fix, but the
money
cost
comes
is
out
going
of,
to go up. Now, there is the opportunity, talking with the Graphic Edge, their water use after 1 o'clock, something about recycle, do something, whatever they do there at that plant. So their water usage goes way down, and I didn't know if they scheduled that for like a 2 or 2:30 start. If it would still, if they did it on a weekday, they still would lap over into some overtime, but it would reduce it. And maybe I don't know if it would affect,
Well,
if their guys would be more inclined to want to fix that on a weekday and not a weekend.
weekday, in my opinion, doing it on a weekday is better, because if something unexpected goes south,
You can get parts.
Redhead is, Ferguson's is open and other places are open, so maybe that would be the ideal way to do it.
how much is this gonna cost? I mean, did anybody talk about actual price?
A new hydrant, probably, and
I
labor.
don't know.
And the city is doing this and it's passing it on to us.
Yeah, they maintain our
Yes.
hydrants and
Yes,
stuff,
right.
right?
As maintenance, as secondary users of their primary system, yes.
Right.
Right.
That's on our water agreement.
That's probably gonna be a 3 or 4 hour repair,
He thought,
about half a day.
3 to 4 hours is what,
And
So,
a new hydrant,
yeah.
and that's our cost too. Is it? New hydrant?
yeah, the hydrant will be on us.
Any ballpark? I mean,
I don't know what a hydrant costs.
I don't know. I can,
It's just something that's gotta be done.
Well, I think you
yeah,
should check
'cause it's a
with
repair.
Graphic Edge and see if you can do it. If it would not inconvenience them too much to do it on a weekday.
Right.
Would seem to me it'd be
A little cheaper.
a little cheaper and a lot smarter.
well, when
'cause
the
if we
city
need
was out
parts-
there, apparently there was somebody from the Graphic Edge that came out and started really chewing the city guys up and down one or the other with the fact that they were.
They seem to
threatening
want
shut
an
the
awful
water
lot.
off. And that's why they put a hold on the whole project. And so when I talked to the owners, he said, well, there shouldn't have been anybody here screaming and yelling at anybody, but
Right.
anyways, I said, well, I don't know if they were screaming and yelling, but they certainly was
They
some
were unhappy.
conversation.
So if we go to them politely and just ask,
Or tell them, this is when we're doing
or
it.
tell them this is when we're gonna, and is that gonna put them out, then.
Try to
then
schedule,
Yeah.
try to schedule it at the best convenient time
Yeah.
to them without costing the town and Arm and Lake to do it.
Right.
Well, I guess I can call Dave in the morning and try to narrow down what that,
Do we need to make some kind of motion to authorize Byron to do it, or you just go ahead and do it under his?
Well, he's got the water and sewer thing, but it's back to, the city is, in a way, they're our preferred contractor for that
Right.
service.
Right.
So,
correct.
it's whatever it's gonna cost. But still, this is like, yeah, go ahead and spend, we don't know how much money. And it's awkward, because I don't know how much
Well,
money it is.
right.
that's kind of what's happened with that valve replacement
Yeah.
out from
Right,
Aldi's.
that we still haven't been billed
Here it is
for.
2 years later, we haven't gotten a
We have no idea
from
what
them yet,
they're,
although Dave said he was working on it, though,
on a bill?
on an invoice.
Holy mackerel.
Well, why don't we
No
say,
wonder they're in trouble. I mean, 2 years and they've foot the bill for this, paid for all the parts, all the labor, and they're still waiting on their money because they haven't billed us.
so,
But do we need a motion, Mary, to authorize him to just go ahead and get it repaired in the best possible manner?
you can make the motion.
That's what I made.
Motion's made, is there a
Second.
second? All right, any discussion? Where's the money coming from, by the way?
That comes out of our water fund.
That's
That's part of the water
That's out
fund.
of maintenance,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's out of that O&M.
All
Yeah,
right, using the city as preferred vendor.
vendor, right, because they are, are they under a formal
Any further
contract?
discussion?
Yes,
Yes, I have a
we have a contract.
formal contract with them to do that work, okay? No, I don't have any more.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, go ahead.
So, we'll get it done.
See what I can do to keep the cost down.
That
Yeah,
would be good,
I mean,
thank you.
work with Dave,
All right.
and maybe
Anything-
the graphic heads, you get the best time frame.
Do have something else out of the highway.
And your road reclassification?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I read over what you had written. I did email you back, said I
Yes,
thought
it
everything
was
looked
okay.
appropriate and was fine.
Okay,
And then maybe, a little later on in the summer, we'll start the process and actually throw up that
Sugar Hill.
so you will recall that we went through
discontinue,
the
start the
process.
discontinuance hearing.
Yeah,
Right. We went through the process of reclassifying that little spur off Sugarwood Hill Road and Dyer Road from Class 3 to Class 4, and we voted to approve that move at our last meeting, or several meetings ago. It's in here. In order to comply with statute, we have to do findings of fact. And I stuck in a little conclusion of law in there. And so what I'm asking tonight is, you've already approved doing this, but here are the reasons for it, and we need to get this out, because we had, 60 days from the day we
Which we
actually took the
determined
vote, I
About
think.
the 28th or something like that.
So if you had a chance to read over these two, they're very similar. I drafted them up, I sent them to Bill, and I sent them to Byron to take a look, and I emailed them out to you over
Yep.
the weekend when I got it done. And I would entertain a motion to approve the findings for the two roads reclassification as printed.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion or changes?
pretty much
I
we
have
tested.
one change actually I noticed, and that's on the Dyer Road one, where it says concerning reclassification of a portion of Dyer Road, it's actually Dyer Road. So take out a portion of, okay? All right. Then with that change, you guys okay with that change?
Yes,
All
yeah.
right. All in favor of the motion to approve the findings and conclusions, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So, and I'm in favor. I'm gonna sign both. And let's see, Bill, I think you have to get these out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. Select board, anything else on highway?
Very good.
Good, thank you very much, Byron. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, Chris Clark, Town Fire Chief. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. The planters look great. All we need are plants.
That's correct. We're just
Okay.
waiting on some dirt whenever Byron's free, and we'll plant it up.
He's looking surprised. Oh, okay.
No, we're done.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna be able to get to it this week, and I will.
Whenever.
The big news story of the day for the Red Sox. We won't be doing any digging for a little while, I guess, so we'll put on that list for tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks. I don't have much on the list tonight. We'll have a few trucks up at Northwood for the 4th of July fireworks.
Good.
We'll have a few trucks at the town celebration on the 6th. Yesterday we did all our hose testing down at the mall, so that's all done.
You put in a long day.
It's a very long day. Started at 8 and got done at like 10:30 at night.
Yeah, because you were still there when I left.
Yep.
The haying went a lot quicker.
Well, they didn't have as many people as they thought show up as they
That's the
usually
same outfit we've been using
Yep.
right along.
Yep.
Good.
So they do a good job. Last week we did bring the truck up to the school for the younger kids.
Nice.
That was a huge hit. They've already asked me to come back next year.
Good.
So, what we're doing around the station, we're doing a new pump class for the last couple weeks. Dell is in charge of that new class, so we're getting everybody. We want everybody to do everything that everybody else can. So. And the last thing I got is got one more application for you guys to approve.
Okay.
For his name's David Sutton. He's a retired fire investigator for the state, so should be a good.
Is he gone through the criminal background check?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, JP
Yeah.
took care of all that.
Okay,
He's
good.
all good.
In town, Chris, or
Yeah.
Yeah, lives on Colonial Drive.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Is there a motion?
So moved.
second?
Okay, motion is made to, and seconded to approve, did you say Dave Sutton?
Yep.
Okay, as new firefighter?
Firefighter, yes.
Okay. Discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll vote aye in favor. So, do we,
Yeah, we just sign it
Sign, okay.
somewhere in a blank space down there, makes them official.
$25.19, there we go. Right?
That's all I got.
It's a short meeting. Any questions for the fire chief? Thanks very much for all of the extras. Appreciate that.
No problem. It's our pleasure.
When will you see the new pickup?
It's supposed to be 8 to 9 weeks after we ordered it, so I haven't
hobble
really heard
over.
yet.
You gonna hobble over?
I can do this.
Thank you.
Did I see something here? No, we signed that. That was for the lights. That was in the orders.
Yeah, okay. Next on the agenda, Ed Dumas, police chief. Now, is it deputy chief or assistant chief?
I guess. How does it work in the police service?
Yeah,
We went
because
through
we
the-
made a mistake in the fire department. We don't want to do that with the police.
I guess it's deputy. Deputy chief?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, very good.
Same difference. Same difference.
Okay,
So, quick like what the score calls of service we had, I think it was 59
wow.
calls for service.
Busy week.
That's a lot.
Officer Gamble, he worked a little bit, so a lot of those directed patrols are just places where he set up and run radar, just a little more active. So we can document where we've been, and check for speed, things like that.
Are you getting any customers?
I suspect we are.
Yeah, two of them stopped the other day down on Grove Street together.
Okay. So any questions about the monthly summary report? There's a lot.
Yeah.
Any reason why there's more?
If you look at the directed patrols,
That's
It's
what it
nice
is.
out, Mary.
they'll punch a case if they're
But
gonna
it's
direct.
nice out.
Yeah, about
do
one day a
radar
week.
on.
Did we have the car breaks during that week? Was that last week or the week before?
I think so.
Because we had a rash of car breaks.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
that could have possibly added to it as well. I just didn't know which cycle that fell under.
Okay. Great, thanks. Yeah, I saw you down on, appreciate that. Okay, now, what's next?
We have a speed carts we discussed in our police commission meeting to purchase speed carts.
Okay, in your,
Asked Ted to last meeting, I think, to get some quotes and prices.
yes,
I pretty much tried to compare apples to apples, either two different companies. I think the delivery dates are different on, if you depending on which one.
Okay, so in your packet, it's 9A and 9B.
Yep.
There is the Stalker radar, and that quote is $85.70. And there's the Decatur Electronics, and that is $95.85.
The Decatur is what everybody else around Rutland County uses: sheriff, state police, Pittsford
City.
The Stalker one is, I guess, new to this area, if we give that one.
Availability?
What's that?
Availability?
So the Decatur one, according to the rep that I talked to, he said it ships about 3 days after ordering, but it's coming from California, which is why there's the $1,000 shipping for freight. They also suggest we would need some place that has a loading dock to help offload it, or else they're gonna have to get a truck with a loading bay or a tailgate, and that's higher expense.
Tractor.
Stalker is, the way Stalker Radar does it, talking to their rep, they have 7 units built, shipped from Texas to someplace, I think Medford or Bedford, Mass. They sit in a shipping container until a department buys it, and then they go to the trailer, hook it onto their truck, trailer it right to us.
You guys have
About
a
2
preference?
weeks.
Preference?
Stalker is what we use for our in-car radars. They're fantastic. They've lasted us about 8 years for the units that we have with no issues.
And it's $1,000
A little
cheaper.
bit different too.
No special, whatever.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Saves $1,000 and they deliver it by pickup to where you want it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So that's an, yeah.
Now, this is over our purchasing policy. I'm guessing there aren't a whole lot of these.
I honestly don't know much about these.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get anybody to,
Yeah.
I don't know how a bidding process.
I want to look at, I think these are important. I think they replace a police officer that you don't have sometimes. I mean, I'm going to admit, and you close your ears, that I have a heavy foot, and when I see one of these, I do slow down. So I think they're important, and I think more than one down the road is something we should really look at.
for now, instead of,
So there's solar panel on both.
Yep.
And it flashes the speed, and it logs the time of day and the speed
Correct.
for each. So we have the opportunity to then do
Download.
a directed patrol back there at times of day that are really problematic.
Yes.
Okay,
do none of
I'll
these,
entertain a motion if you folks want to make one.
I
none of them
move-
have, excuse me a minute. All right, well, I'll second.
go
them.
ahead.
No, we can do it during the discussion.
I move that we purchase from Stalker the speed trailer.
Is there a second to the
I'll
motion?
second that.
Motion's made and seconded to purchase the Stalker radar speed trailer at a cost of $8,570. Discussion.
So my question was, do any, and I don't see it, do you know how they have like cameras? So there's no, that isn't an option where it would actually, you could get
I'd be violating some
some law.
we'd be infringing on somebody's Fourth Amendment rights if we stuck a camera on it.
That falls in line with
Plate
what
readers.
the license plate readers.
Right.
They had a big discussion on that.
Yep.
Because I know for some intersections and traffic lights, they have cameras that actually do that. And I didn't know if that was an option that you could get, and then forward the speeding violation with a little letter that you've been observed. But
Not in Vermont.
Okay, so motion, any further discussion?
how are we paying for it? I might have missed this earlier
I think
discussion.
the discussion, yeah, fair question, is this coming out of the police department's capital fund?
Yeah, capital fund.
Okay,
Okay.
which now that it's
next
actually
fiscal.
built up a year, there's some money
Right.
in it.
And I would ask that you put it again
No?
in the next
So
budget
there's what,
for another one.
$215
Yeah.
right now.
Okay,
How much?
There's only
215.
Yeah.
Because of the years.
September 10th, there'll be another, what is that, 9,000 in there?
So there's nothing in it.
Not currently, no, 'cause we had that
Is there, I thought there was some discussion about there was some grant money or something that we could put toward this, but
So what ends up happening with that is, like how other people bought the Decatur units, is they used highway safety money. I have a meeting tomorrow to actually get set up into the program, but that money won't just be there. We have to start working the details, and then
How long before we can tap that fund?
a while, because it comes in increments.
Okay.
So I know years ago when we did it, they sent us a check, or they didn't even send us a check, it was a reimbursement amount. So we would have gotten reimbursed up to $1,500.
All right. So, well, we've got the motion on the table. You've got the motion, but we're missing 2 members, and there's a question about how we're going to pay for it.
right.
So, your pleasure. Do we table it until next meeting?
Yeah, I thought, I'm just trying to, I wonder how long this quote's good for.
Kirsten, when does that other money come in? You said September 10th?
30 days.
We do 3 installments for each of the depreciation funds. So September 10th will be when the first third of that comes in.
So the Stalker quote looks like it's good until September 10th. The other one is good until the end of July.
All right.
Well, we can maybe make this work.
So, if you're willing, I'll entertain a motion to table.
We can table this.
Motion's
Yeah.
made, Sharon? Table?
I don't think there's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, made and seconded to table for our next meeting. I'll vote aye on tabling your own. So,
Okay.
yeah, Byron?
2 cents worth in there?
Yeah,
I thought that when I voted in March, okay, that was a depreciation.
Yeah.
yeah, well, it sounds like we probably better
We need to do
double
it.
check on that.
It's used to replace something that you already had.
Right.
If you're buying something new, that's a capital purchase.
Yeah.
Which needs to be funded some other way.
Out of the capital, and that's probably why. Looks like we're gonna have plenty of money in it, but we should probably involve the other 2 select
no,
board
that's-
members.
So like the Crown Vic is being sold, that can be replaced out of the depreciation fund.
Yeah.
But we would not be able to probably do that out of the
Yeah.
depreciation fund.
Okay, so the question is where we get the
Yeah.
money for it.
We'll have to figure out how we're
That
gonna
was
pay
the
for it.
question we had at the police commission meeting. We didn't want to use this year's budget because they want to put it back into lower
Yes.
people's taxes.
That's
And we
right.
were told we could use this fund by people, and obviously,
Well, it could be
That's
that, or it could be the capital fund, in which case there's gonna be, looks like a big chunk of money coming into that. So we may not have to touch your police depreciation fund. We might
Right,
be able to
actually,
do the
we
capital
wouldn't,
fund.
what to Byron's point, we wouldn't be able to buy a new piece of equipment out
Right.
of the when this one is done, we can replace it out of the depreciation
Right.
fund, but we can't use the
So
depreciation
we'd have
fund
to
to
go out of the
start.
capital.
We have to buy it, yeah.
Probably. All right, so you still, so we're tabling it for now. If Bill will please put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Get up then.
the Crown Vic is at Hendy's. It's been repaired, everything's done to it. There is some items in that you guys probably wanna take out, go through it.
okay.
I think there's some road spikes in there and a few
Okay.
other things. And then we're gonna sell it, right?
Yep.
Is that the plan?
Yep.
So,
That was, the second constable was taking care of that.
Yeah.
okay, all right, so
Okay.
you guys no longer, you divvied it off to him. All right,
So,
but it's done and it needs to go away.
okay.
So I don't know if that's a, whatever, you can talk to JP or how you're gonna handle
Okay.
it, but I do believe there is some stuff in there that you wanna take out.
Okay, we will.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Very good.
All right, thank you very much. And our new officer starts?
Yes, his name is Brendan Riley. He's, leaving the city and coming to the town, work for our fire department, and we're looking forward to it. He will be starting July 1st.
Okay, good.
So.
And will he be coming in to meet the select board at our next meeting?
He should, yes.
He will be now.
That would be good.
We discussed it. He's
Okay, yeah.
planned on it.
Yeah, okay,
But
good.
I'll swear him in July 1st.
July 1st.
Perfect.
Good. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, town health officer is not here, so no report on that. Committee updates, I think we've covered most of water and sewer, but we did, Joe, why don't you do a quick rundown of our meeting with Robert Clark of Otter Creek Engineering? And
Okay, so on the 19th, the Water Sewer Committee met and we got an overview of the water main project that we've been proposing to do on Ranberry Road, approximately 1,300 feet of pipe will be run down there. We discussed the type of pipe to be used, and different, scenarios that need to be, looked into as far as, what we would be doing as far as, user connections and, I'm trying to think, there was a little more design work and a little more, stuff they needed to do to come up with a cost. One of the things that we talked about was funding for this project, and we're been looking at different avenues for funding, and we are thinking possibly of, and we have to see if this is a feasible option, is to actually borrow the money from our water account to pay for the project up front, and then the town would pay that back. So we got to look into whether we can do that. We are looking at a main that will have the potential to be looped to the Farrell main. At this time, it won't be looped. It will run as a dead end, and we're looking at a automatic bleed off hydrant at the end that keeps the water from getting stagnant at the end of that. It's an 8-inch main, runs down there. Hydrants will be at about every 500 feet. And we're looking at probably ending the main somewhere right around the Casella building down there, because there's no need to really go all the way to the end of Ranberry Road. That's an extra 200 or 300 feet of pipe that would not be beneficial, wouldn't be of any particular benefit to us. And the pipe would be ended with a shut off, so in future time, if we wanted to connect to the Farrell main, it could be done. We discussed numerous sewer allocations for different buildings, different properties, and Billy's been working on a list of what these allocations are, and we're trying to get a handle on properties, and we have names, and we have like business names, but no contact information as to where these folks are. So a suggestion that we'll be working on as part of the the grand list framework, that there will be an allocation. What was that?
Yes,
that was,
there's going to be there's a currently unused field on the grand list that we're going to use to track allocations going forward, so that way there's one place to look for them.
So that was a really great idea there. So when a business is sold or whatever, all the information is on that grand list, and any allocations and stuff will be there.
Now, you saw that we approved the take back of an allocation. That's the sort of thing. Billy's
Right.
combing the records, and
Right.
so we can recapture some of that and give it out to someone else.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, anything further from, and I think we're still waiting, the plan is to have Robert Clark from Otter Creek Engineering come in,
back.
talk to the full select board, and come in with an estimate of how much the full project is going to be, so we're waiting on that. Byron?
In regard to all of this, one thing that Robert had mentioned, was an asset management study or something like that.
Yes.
Similar to what Pittsburgh did. I just got this email from him today about an asset management workshop being put on by DEC, who happens to have, I think, that extra money you're looking for. Anyways, it's a 3-day workshop. It's a commitment. The first series is on July 30th, September 4th, and October 1st, spread out somewhere in the Champlain Valley. To get more information, there's a webinar, unfortunately tomorrow, July 26th. So you need to register.
July or June?
June, wait a minute here. Webinar on June 26th.
Okay, that's tomorrow.
Yeah,
So you have to register
for the webinar.
workshop, and then they'll let you know the period, the time of the webinar
Okay,
in order to participate in. So it's kind of a crunch thing.
yeah,
I'm just mentioning it. It's nothing that I can get into tomorrow.
okay.
But you have to be.
But it sounds like,
There's only 10 water systems per series that they're going to allow to take the asset management workshop.
Okay. All right. But it sounds like there's going to be another
There's two different series. One is beginning July 30th.
Yeah.
And then the second day is September 4th.
Right.
The third day is October 1st. And then the second series, which is somewhere in southern Vermont,
Okay.
July 31st, September 5th, and October 3rd.
All right. But the webinar for both is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Huh.
So whether, I guess the thing to do would be to contact Megan Young in the morning, find out if indeed there are any slots open.
Yeah.
Because the indication is we're going to take 10 water systems, and their primary concern is those communities of less than 10,000 people.
Well, we fit that category. So would you, between you and Bill, could you check with her and see whether, does anyone have time for the webinar tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm,
Okay.
I'm scheduled to be off tomorrow.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
obligations at home.
Okay. Bill, are you in?
I should go do that.
Okay. Let's just at least find
Everything
out.
else you
We might
had.
have to wait till the next round, and we do have this. All
But
right.
we might be able, because we might fit that.
Also,
I think you sent to
Or you
Mary
should have it.
and to me and to you, so, yeah.
You should have it.
yeah.
And the phone number's down at the very bottom.
Okay. Any other committee meeting updates? I know Rec did meet, and you folks reported a little bit on that.
Yep.
Water sewer met. Did highway meet? Can't remember.
No, we haven't met.
We haven't met.
If we did, I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it too. Any other committee updates from anyone? Okay, we're gonna skip over the project list. So we've done under new business, the radar units off till next meeting, the replacement of the damaged fire hydrant Byron's going ahead with. We've done the findings of fact for Dyer Road and Sugarwood Hill Road reclassification. Any other business under new business? If not, old business. The stormwater ordinance, we're holding that for the full board. The review of the proposal for the town clerk's remodel, that's for the next meeting. Conflict of interest policy we have adopted. Any other business? I have a question for Bill on the Green Lantern proposal for the solar field up on our landfill.
Yeah.
And that's still with Kevin?
It is that, yes.
Okay, so when the town energy plan and the Green Lantern proposal need to come back to the energy committee, so if we can see where Kevin is on that, and then maybe schedule a meeting of the energy committee with those two items on the agenda, that would be good. All right, we did have a request for an executive session. Let me just go through a few other things on our packet. I think we've dealt with everything. We've done the conflict of interest. We've done the Holiday Inn parking situation on the end of Cop John Drive. We've done the GE Aviation graduation ceremony. We're grieving the West Rutland property tax reevaluation. The stormwater recommends from Kevin Brown we went over. I think the next number 7 is the subject of the executive session. Number 6. Number 7 is the remodel, which is remodel for town clerk's office. Water sewer committee draft letters to owner of US Route 7 South. I think we did that.
Yep.
And then the speed carts are off till the next meeting. So we've covered the packet, except for the executive session matter. We do have notice from Same Son of Vermont, Marlene Allen, principal, just an application for a certificate of public good, and this is the residence, 1049 Vermont Route 3, residence of Mark Foley. So it's all of the property is owned by Mr. Foley, and all of the power will be consumed by his on-site barn and residence. So this we will receive into record. And there's information here if anyone's interested. Do you keep these in your office, Bill, or does Kirsten keep them? Does Kirsten also get a copy of these?
No, the planning commission does that.
Planning Commission, okay. So there's information on some activity going on there. All right, anything else before we go into executive session? Anything else? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
For the purpose of considering confidential correspondence on a matter with town council.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we're in executive session.